Fireweed is my totem plant in Alaska. I was allergic to fireweed when I first came here in 1978, and it sort of was the first plant attunement that I did in Alaska, and really sort of set the tone for everything that was going to come after. Those of you that have seen fireweed in full bloom before, like you have it here, will notice that it has an amazing signature in that at the top of the stem there will be the buds, in the middle of the stem there'll be the flowers, and then getting more towards August, at the bottom of the stem there'll be the seeds. And you can see all three of those at the same time. And there's not too many other plants that I can think of that do that. So it's a succession. It's showing you the movement of energy from birth through maturity, through whatever we want to call the seed part, the next generation. And so if you're looking at it energetically, or if you can see the aura of the plant, it's got a really powerful energy flow, and I'm not sure if it's like that or like that, but anyway, it's constantly moving energy into the earth, out of the earth, up very vertically, and you go stand in a grove of mature flowering fireweeds, and you can feel it doing the same thing with you. It's really moving the energy and getting the energy going in your field. And then the last time I made fireweed, up in Hatcher Pass, there's a special spot that I went to, and they said, well, okay, so you know about the top part of the plant, we're going to take you into the roots. And I spent like an hour in this super deep meditation, just kind of swimming underneath the ground in the roots of the rhizomes of the fireweed family. Massive, massive families that are all connected underground. And so they said everything that you know about fireweed in terms of movement of energy and facilitating the release of shock and trauma and just out with the old, in with the new, that which is all very vertical, then we're going to introduce you and show you about the horizontal, which is the root system, and how we can sustain this. In other words, how many of us feel up to date right now, in this moment? Up to date emotionally, up to date mentally, energetically. So that feeling of constantly feeling up to date, tomorrow is different than today. I'm updating, I'm integrating, I'm moving old stuff out, I'm moving new stuff in. What makes that possible is the grounding connection. What makes it possible is this underground network. And essentially their gift to nature anyway, their gift to the forest, is that they can go into a place where the trees have been reduced completely. There's no like sticks, like burnt trees that have just lost their needles. Everything's gone. And there's ash pits, just a super hot fire, and it's just devastation. Nothing's there. And they'll come in and they'll recolonize that fire on a light level first. They'll put in the light network in the soil, and then they'll put in the root network in the soil, and then you see the fireweed plants coming up, and then the rest of the plants will say, okay, well, fireweed's got this started again, now we can come in. So they have the fire signature, but they'll also go to any place that is, previously was just a forest and somebody cut a road in. So anything that's disturbed, where you've actually cut, you have a road cut, that means you've cut the etheric body of that area on both sides. So there'll be fireweed coming in and saying, okay, we're going to work with the etheric cut that's been made here. I don't know why they call it a weed. It's one of the most amazing plants on the planet. So it's doing the same thing for humans. If you have, through whatever kind of lifestyle you've had, one of the reasons I was allergic was because I had been fighting fire for 7 years previous, 7 seasons, and I was already starting to have depletion. I was already starting to deplete, organ chi and all these things. I didn't know it yet. I was like 25 years old when I got here, and I was already depleted at 25. So the thing about fighting fire or some of these kinds of things is that on the one side you're really strong physically, you can leap tall buildings kind of thing, but on the other side you're really pulling energy out of yourself, and can be very damaging and take a long time to recuperate. So Fireweed was saying, okay, so now you're in Alaska, we've got a few things to tell you. And one of the things was that you've got to deepen your roots, you've got to pull more chi up from the earth. If you're not rooted and you're using a lot of energy, how are you going to get replenished? You've got to connect to the planet to get replenished. We have to root to make this work. And so they were saying, hey Steve, you're 25 years old, this is a wake-up call. You've got to make some adjustments here. And one of the reasons you're having trouble rooting into your life and into the earth is because you've got so much crap in the way. You know, the roots can't get down. And so that was all the old unfinished business I had with my family of origin, and relationships, and all the unfinished cycles in my life. And so they basically said, you're not allergic to us, you're allergic to all the energy that you're carrying around that you don't need to be carrying around. So that winter I started doing counseling, I started getting body work for the first time, really serious body work. I had been taking the Bach remedies, but I just, really went for it because I wanted to stay in Alaska. If you're allergic to fireweed, there's not too many places you can be up here in the summer, and have any sort of happy time. So I really worked on myself, really did some deep work with some really great counselors and so on, and went back the next summer, actually to a place that had more fireweed, different fire station, and I wasn't allergic to fireweed. So that was a real key moment, or key sort of evolution in my life. This is an essence that does so much for everybody, and for the earth.